Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. Hi guys, hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're new here, a warm welcome. Thank you for checking out my channel. All I ask is that after listening to and or watching the video, if you find you enjoyed it or learned something, smash that like button and consider subscribing. Now let's dig in. Well, hello there, T here. Hope you guys are having a great weekend so far. By now, you likely know that the body of Missouri college student, 22-year-old Riley Strain, was found on the Cumberland River on Friday. He was found shortly before 7:30 a.m. in the Cumberland River, nearly 8 miles from the area in downtown Nashville where he was last seen. And despite all the speculation, Strain still had on the same shirt he was wearing as well as his watch when he went missing. So I don't know if there's a homeless man who found the exact same shirt, white and black, hanging on a guardrail, covered in vomit. Is it possible there was a similar shirt that was found that way? Or was this story made up? We don't yet know. Just to recap a little bit, the 22-year-old University of Missouri student went missing during a trip with his fraternity brothers, and he was last spotted on Friday, March 8th. His friends notified the police, not on the night he went missing, but the next morning, which is very unfortunate. Here's where his body was found. He was found near 61st Avenue North in the Nations. Basically, that's the nearest street to where his body was found in the Cumberland River. In case you don't know, the Cumberland River flows west through Nashville. It spans 688 miles, and it flows down from the Appalachian Mountains through southern Kentucky and middle Tennessee before connecting to the Ohio River. It runs through two major cities, Clarksville and Nashville. There are 8 dams along the river, and the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency says that it's often used by large barges. The Cumberland River presents several dangers to people, particularly at night and in cold temperatures. According to Tennessee Wildlife Research Agency Captain Josh Landrum, quote, undertows can be present anytime there is wind and strong currents in river systems. However, typically through the downtown area, the river is narrow and the river current is the greater danger. A strong river current alone could cause even a good swimmer difficulty in getting back to the shoreline if they were to fall in. End quote. Cumberland Kayak and Adventure Company operations manager Dylan Schultz said there are several variables that could cause even more danger for someone navigating the river. Among those issues is how fast the water travels. Water velocity on March 8th, when Riley was last seen, was measured at 3.81 feet per second, according to the United States Geological Survey. But get this, despite those readings, Schultz said that much of the Cumberland River is shallow enough to stand in. He estimated that the average person could stand in the river anywhere between 10 to 15 feet from the shore. But then he added, but watch out, it does drop off quickly. He also added that perhaps the biggest challenge someone in the river could face, especially at night, comes from the transportation barges that float along the river, combined with the low air temperatures. According to an article in the Tennessean, on March 8th, temperatures were as low as 56 degrees. This means that water temperatures would have been in the 50-degree range, making hypothermia a possibility, especially if a person is unable to get out of the water quickly. I'm thinking that at 6'5" or 6'7", I've seen both of those heights listed, Riley should have had no problem standing upright in the river, but we know he had problems standing upright even on solid ground due to possibly whatever he drank, possibly any drugs he may have had in his system, whether he took those on his own accord or if someone put something in his drink, we don't know. Toxicology reports will make that clear. Riley's family members have said that from what they see of him in the surveillance camera footage, he doesn't look like he's just drunk. It looks like there's more more than that going on. Now, the area where Riley was last seen was in a brushy area with cliffs that would have made it nearly impossible for Riley to have fallen into the river. And I have questions about that bank card being found on the ground near the river. How did it get there? You'd think if Riley fell in the water, his wallet would be with him, dashed in a pocket, or possibly that it would have come off of him and been floating in the water. What doesn't make sense is to have a bank card on the ground there. So I've heard from people who say that they've been to that area and it's a place that they would never go alone at night. So basically it's kind of a dangerous area. There are homeless encampments there and there's a certain element that hangs out down there. So I'm still wondering if it's possible that somebody tried to take advantage of Riley, rob him of cash, take his wallet, and then maybe push him in the river. But if that was the case, wouldn't they have also taken his watch? The police have said the watch was still on his wrist when they pulled the body out of the river, so that doesn't make sense. I mean, if we are to follow Occam's razor, which says that the simplest explanation is usually the right one, then we would say this was a tragic accident of a person who was intoxicated or drugged and very disoriented and somehow fell in the river. But I do have questions about all the brush and the deep embankment and the bank card. And here's just a little background on Riley. He was from Springfield, Missouri. He'd traveled to Nashville to attend his fraternity's Delta Chi annual spring formal. He and his friends were doing a bar crawl on Friday night, and he was last seen at Luke's 32 Bridge, which is a rooftop bar with live music. The Nashville police have said that Riley was last seen on Gay Street at 9:52 p.m., and after not hearing from Riley, his friends tried to contact him through social media apps and by calling his cell phone. And then on Saturday, March 9th, that's when they reported him missing. I really wish they would have called the police on Friday and or called Riley's parents to give them the option of calling the police. The initial search for Riley was along the banks of the Cumberland River. Nothing was found. Then on Tuesday, March 12th, Nashville police released video footage showing Riley walking by himself along Gay Street around 9:50 p.m. and crossing First Avenue after stopping on the sidewalk, posing for a moment, and then walking toward the direction he came from. Riley swiftly turns around and continues to walk down Gay Street. I think he was definitely perplexed about how to get back to his hotel. Some people have said that the name of the hotel, Tempo by Hilton, is very close to the name of a local business, and that perhaps Riley was using Google directions for the business instead of the hotel. Now, musician Luke Bryan owns the bar, Luke's 32nd Bridge, and now the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission is launching an investigation into whether or not that bar overserved Riley. But of course, he was at two other bars prior to this one, so it's possible he was overserved elsewhere. Luke Bryan, who probably wants to cover his butt, posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, on Friday, and this is what he wrote. During Riley's visit to Luke's 32nd Bridge, our records shows that our records shows that he purchased and was served one alcoholic drink and 2 waters. At 9:35 p.m., our security team was made a decision. Okay. It looks like Luke might have thrown a few back, if you know what I mean. Based on our conduct standards, to escort him from the venue through our Broadway exit at the front of our building. He was followed down the stairs with one member of his party. The individual with Riley did not exit and returned upstairs. End quote. People are saying that this person had to pay the bar tab and that the bar would not let him exit until he did pay that bar tab. I don't know if that's true or not. Either way, personally, I feel that a lot of people did not do Riley a solid that night. All it would have taken was one person to intervene, to see that he was highly under the influence of something, to see that he was disoriented, and to help guide him in the right direction, send him in an Uber, walk him there, do whatever you need to. That person was somebody's son, somebody's brother, you know what I mean? You know, we're so used to not intervening, not sticking our noses in where they don't belong, but maybe these stories should serve as a cautionary tale to us to dare to risk, to step in for a stranger when you see that they are in need. Especially a young kid who's well dressed. He doesn't look like someone who's going to try to rob you or hurt you. So it was a worker who was working on the Cumberland River who said that they moved one of these barges and basically Riley popped up. That's when they spotted him. And from the distinctive shirt and his height, it was pretty easy to see that it really was Riley. So that's all for now. I still have questions. I do believe, I don't know, I'm like 50-50. That bank card is really bothering me. And also to hear how shallow the water is, and also to hear that it's rather difficult there to get down to the river because of the brush, because of the steep embankment. Was Riley really that intoxicated that he wouldn't notice that he was going from pavement down an embankment? I mean, you'd really have to be out of your mind not to realize that the embankment isn't the right way to go to get back to your hotel. But maybe he was in a spot where he just stumbled and boom, he went over into the water, and though it was shallow, he didn't realize it because current was so strong, and maybe there was an undertow that pulled him under, and before he knew it, he was under the water, disoriented, moving swiftly and unable to get out of there. All in all, it's just a very sad case, and I send prayers and hugs to the family, to Riley's friends, also to his frat brothers, because I really don't want them to feel guilty for the rest of their lives. You know, ultimately, it's not really their fault if Riley overindulged or if somebody slipped something into his drink. That's all for now. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday and Sunday, and I'll see you next time on Bed Crime Stories. Now smash that like button.